Wolf Daddy, and it is springtime. So I've decided to create a springtime recipe for my dogs and your dogs and you and me as well. Something that we can all eat and enjoy. It's a beautiful day today. The sky is gorgeous. The birds are chirping. There's a nice little breeze. But springtime is always full of life. This is when the baby birds are being born, the baby wolfies are being born, not at the sanctuary because we never breed. This is the time where life really just starts to express itself, and the weeds get growing, which we have to always battle at the wolf sanctuary. But one of the weeds that we really enjoy are the dandelions. Now, at the wolf sanctuary, when I first started 23 years ago, there was not a dandelion in sight. I actually put them at the wolf sanctuary because I know how delicious and nutritious they really are for you and me, as well as our canines. So today, I'm going to go and get some dandelions, and I'm going to create this awesome recipe sort of around the dandelions, just as something special for springtime. But the other great thing about springtime is we have a lot of fun enrichment programs. We like to enrich our wolves' lives on a day-to-day basis, so we have some fun springtime things that we do. From Easter to kind of like Mother's Day. So check out the fun stuff that we do with our wolves during the springtime. I'm about to don the Wolf Daddy apron. And let's get cooking in Wolf Daddy's kitchen. So the first thing I want to show you today is something I just did. I went over to the sanctuary and I pulled up some dandelion. Now, I don't know if you know about dandelions or if you've even eaten a dandelion root, whether it be like dandelion root tea or maybe just the dandelion greens in a salad, but they're very tasty. They can be bitter, but they are packed, packed with nutrients, probably even far more than most of the salad greens that you would typically put in a salad. Now, if you don't have dandelions nearby in your yard, of course you can go to your grocery store. Very often, like a whole food store, a natural food store will have dandelion greens. You can purchase them there. And if you don't have dandelion, well, of course, you can substitute with arugula or spinach. But in this case, we're going to actually add spinach to our recipe as well. One of the fun ingredients today is the dandelion. And by the way, it's likely that you're going to hear my radio playing, and that's not a music radio. That's the radio that we use for the sanctuary. I have a base station here in my home, so if there's an emergency, I can drop what I'm doing and get over to the sanctuary. So that's the sounds that you'll be hearing in the background, and besides dog toenails clicking on the tile. But going back to the dandelion, I want to let you know that dandelion it has like every vitamin from vitamin A to vitamin K, really loaded, and minerals deluxe. So it's a super healthy thing to add to your diet and to your dog's diet. So the first thing after we've picked our dandelions, we want to wash them off really well. We can pull out the dandelion flowers. We don't need the flowers, so they can come off. Anywhere there's a flower, we don't need that. We're going to wash them really, really well, because you never quite know who might have peed or pooed on that dandelion if it's in your yard. Oh, also, if you use a chemical fertilizer in your yard and there's dandelions growing there, don't touch them. Don't eat them. So the next thing I want to do with the dandelions is I want to cut off that root base and get a lot of this white part off. So I'm just going to chop it right there and stick that in my compost. Now, an important note is that dandelions tend to wilt very rapidly, especially if you're in a warm, dry climate like we are. But as soon as you get them, you wash them off, cut those roots off. You can place them in your crisper drawer in an open plastic bag. That'll help them last a couple more days. Now, also, you can freeze them and just put them in any kind of a meal, your meal or the dog's meal, whenever you choose. So know that you have those options, and it doesn't lose much of its nutritional value. So you might be thinking, well, Wolf Daddy, how much do I use? Just use a bunch. Let the bunch be your personal definition of a bunch. My personal definition of a bunch, right here, a handful. That's all we're going to use today. Now I'm going to show you the rest of the ingredients that are going to go into this fun springtime meal. Alright, so I have the dandelion greens. We've got some spinach. We've got a few little trees of broccoli here. 3.5 pounds of chicken. Now it can be 3 pounds, it can be 4 pounds. This just happens to be 3.5 because that's what these pieces weighed out to be. I've got just a small amount of carrots, and right here I've got another special ingredient, sauerkraut. And here, a piece of a sweet potato, and 1 dozen organic eggs. If this is the first of my cooking videos that you've ever seen, I want to first apologize for the mess in the back. I built a laundry room off of my kitchen just this winter time. Still in the process of remodeling my kitchen, so it's a lot more efficient for me and to make my cooking videos. So if you haven't already subscribed to my Wolf Daddy's Kitchen on YouTube, there's some fun, great recipes, and there'll be a recipe just like every week going up as soon as you see this. So join me on my YouTube channel, Wolf Daddy's Kitchen, and also you'll see the kitchen transition as I begin to do more and more recipes. My favorite kitchen utensil, the blender. The blender does so much, so get an awesome blender. If you don't have an awesome one, this thing is I'm gonna show you what this baby can do. So first of all, I'm gonna take those washed dandelion greens, a bunch, a handful, put those in the blender. I'm gonna drop in the about 1 cup of sauerkraut. I'm gonna throw in the partial sweet potato, carrots, some broccoli. Look at this, all this is going in my blender. Now my blender's pretty full right now. Let me just see if I can jam more of this in there. And then turn this baby on for just a minute to grind it down a little bit. Alright, that's all I need for the moment. Just make some room. If you don't have the awesome blender, do a little bit at a time, but get it all blended in together because we're putting everything in there. So now I'm going to crack and I'm going to put in a dozen eggs, okay? Dozen eggs go in there. So that's a dozen eggs are going in this meal here. A dozen eggs. That's great protein. That's great vitamins and minerals. Omega-3 fatty acids. There we go. Vitamin D, B12, B2, B5. Did you even know there were that many bees? Bumblebees. Put some more greens just to fill it up for the moment. Alright, now let's grind this thing and see what happened. I wish I had a bigger blender. But since I don't, I'm going to have to pour some of this liquid into a different container and then continue with my business here. Alrighty, that ought to be enough. Now I'm going to throw in the rest of the greens that I had that I didn't get in there the first time. And then I'm going to put in some chicken breast, a couple of these, another round of blending. Here we go. I just love this Vitamix. More chicken breast, there we go. I'm going to pour a little bit more liquid in there from what I poured before so it really can mix up. Gotta hold on tight. So, you can't even tell, when I poured this out, you can't even tell that there was chicken in there. It is all ground up super, super well. Love my awesome blender. Get yourself one if you can. It makes awesome dog food recipes. Next, grab your biggest frying pan. I got a monster one right here. Actually got a couple of them. It might take 2 frying pans to cook this up. So let's throw on the heat. I'm going to use a little bit of coconut cooking oil in the bottom of this pan. I love coconut cooking oil. I'm going to do one other thing. I'm going to throw some butter in there. Everything's better with butter. Get that swished around till the butter gets melted. Got it on a high heat. Pour in some of this thick, delicious greenness. Ooh, green dog food, yeah. Yeah. That's the healthy stuff. If it's green, it's good. Alrighty. Get that in there. So here goes the rest. Look at that. Oh my gosh. That's a lot. Oh, there's going to be some happy puppies here. Get that flame down a little bit, and about there. This is going to take probably a good solid 15 minutes of quiet simmer, but we'll see. I'll keep an eye on the time. And stirring often. You want to make sure you stir super often. So grab your favorite spatula and keep this thing moving. You can actually put a lid on for a few minutes just to get it so the whole body of all this green goodness starts to warm up a little faster. Kind of got to make haste. Got an educational program to do at the sanctuary in a few more minutes, so I think I can get this done just in time. And in the meantime, I'm just going to wash my dishes. I can't stand a dirty kitchen, so I'm washing dishes almost as fast as I dirty them up. This will simmer for a little bit, and we'll be right back. Been simmering for about 5 minutes. Start to move it. Doing good. Of course, if you want to go a little faster, put it in 2 big frying pans. Mix them, keep them both moving, and it'll cook up a lot faster. The consistency here is going to be like scrambled eggs, just about like scrambled eggs, maybe a little more firm than that. But we'll find out when it's all done. As this is cooking up, a couple little tips. So when blending the stuff up in your blender, if your blender kind of balks, it's like, it's too dry in here. Go ahead and add, you could probably get away with adding as much as 3/4 cup of water because it will boil off. So, but add water gently to your blender to make sure it does blend. Try not to over water it, but it will blend. It will cook off as it's cooking in the pan. And this is going great right now. Really cooking up nice. It's probably about halfway cooked right now, and it just dawned on me. I forgot one simple little ingredient that I really want you to put into all of your dog's food when you're cooking your dog's foods. Now, especially if you have older dogs, and that's turmeric. I always love to put in ground turmeric, so I'm going to do that right now because it can still get blended in quite well. So all in all, for the whole mixture, probably about 1 full tablespoon. Mix it all in there. It's probably going to change the color to a really pukey brown. Now I think I'm at about minute maybe 12. And it's cooking up really nice. I've got it on a high heat because I'm really just keeping it moving. So just keep stirring it and turning it. As you can see, I still have some moisture boiling in there. I want to get all the moisture out. This is going to be, you know, it won't be dry like kibble, but I do want it rather dry. Okay, so now all the moisture, pretty much all the moisture that was down in there is gone. I've turned off the heat. This is looking good. I'll put the lid on it, let it cool off for a while. And there you have it. That is a very, very simple recipe. Now also make sure that you download the PDF of the actual written recipe. You don't need to try to remember everything I just did. And likely that the written PDF will be a little bit more concise than what you just saw me do. I don't really care for recipes. I like to just throw stuff in. But I know that some people really need a full-on recipe. And I can also say, from tasting this already, it's a little green. And of course for me, I want some spices on my food, so I'm going to spice it up when I eat it as well. But for the dogs, they don't need spices like I like. I mean, I like hot sauce and things like that. So now it's time for the official taste test. So I'm going to scoop up some of this, take it to the sanctuary, and see who likes it at the sanctuary, and then we'll know for certain that this recipe was either a dud or a success. I think success. And as soon as the kids at the Wolf Sanctuary get to do the taste test, of course, my boys and girls at home are going to have a full-on meal of this. So thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe to Wolf Daddy's Kitchen on YouTube, and there'll be far more recipes that I'll be putting up on a regular basis. And don't forget to click the link down below this video on YouTube and get the PDF of the springtime meal. Okay? And thank you to all of our contributors at Wild Spirit Wolf Sanctuary who help us do our day-to-day job. Wolf Daddy signing off on this recipe. Have a marvelous springtime. So I got some very excited dingoes behind me. Of course, I just spilled the food. But we're gonna do a taste test with some dingoes and let them in to see if they like it. So here we go. Come on in, guys. Check it out. Oh yeah, okay. Passing that taste test. You're not even tasting. You're just gobbling. Well, that didn't take but seconds. Now I'm going to see how Mr. Romeo the Red Fox likes Wolf Daddy's new meal. So, the springtime dinner. Hi, buddy. Hi, little man. Oh. Hi. I got something fun. Would you like it? Try it out. What do you think? Oh. Is that pretty okay? Well, it appears that it is definitely Fox approved. So we've got dingo approval, Fox approval. Let's see if we can get some New Guinea singing dog approval. Okay, buddy. Daddy's coming in. This is Bowie. And running around is Miss Foxy. Oh, Bowie, look what Daddy's got. What do you think? Oh, that's yummy. Oh, it is. It's yummy. So I'm pretty convinced that it's a hit and that so far everybody likes it. Next will be my own dogs to see how they like it. Of course they're gonna love it.